falling for so long. But the more you try to work it out, it seems you're going around in circles. But your best is yet to come. Activating success. Activating success. Activating success. Activating success. Get on your feet, hold your head.
And I believe that everybody can make.
Welcome to a new and exciting episode of Activating Success. You are greater than your struggles. Today is a new day. Forget about what went wrong yesterday. Today is a new day. Get up and do something positive with your life. Be remembered for something. It is possible to be celebrated. Today we're honored to have someone whose life is a miracle, and she has done a lot to inspire countless people all over the world. She's the youngest commissioner in Benue State. She was also a lecturer at the Benue State University, and her life is actually a testimony. I believe that her story will inspire you to do something positive with your life and be remembered for something. Today we're honored to have Barrister Mwuese, Mnyim, Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Benue State. Welcome to Activating Success.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Kindly share with us your journey through childhood, schools, and now as a Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs.
Well, I was born to the families of Dr. and Mrs. Uji. My parents raised us in the West, so I grew up basically in Osun State. I attended Obafemi Awolowo University Staff School, and from which I went to Federal Government Girls College, Ikpetumodu. From there, I proceeded to obtain my first degree in law at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. I went to the Nigerian Law School, and then I served at Kano, the Nigerian Police Academy, Wudil. After that, I worked briefly in Kano. Then I went back to obtain my master's in law too. From there, I decided I should come back to Benue State because I basically didn't grow up in Benue State, so I came back in Benue State. But when you hear my life like that, it appears my life was very smooth, and I didn't have any delays whatsoever. It's true, I didn't have any delays whatsoever, but that was not because things were easy and smooth. For instance, when I finished from secondary school, I only waited at home because school was on strike, but I got my JAM, my WAEC, everything. I got them all at one sitting, and I didn't do any extra lessons. So I had to work very hard to get my grades straight. Then when the universities resumed from their strike, school began, so I began school. But the last time my parents paid my school fees was part 1,
Wow.
for instance. So I needed to work to pay myself through school So when I tell someone that, like when people meet me now, they say, I was Honorable Commissioner, I was challenged, it was difficult for me to go through school, but you won't understand. I just laugh because I paid myself through school too. I had to work. There was even a time I was in fellowship, and they brought an announcement of an elderly woman who they were looking for something like a house girl to take care of her. They needed someone to nurse her, sort of. And I nearly volunteered because I needed the job to keep myself in school. But I knew it would just break my mom's heart and break my siblings' heart that I was going to be someone's house girl. But in my heart, you see, the way God records things, it means I accepted the job because in my heart, I wanted to do it. And then there was also a time I was so broke, I needed some sources of income. So I saw one bush. They had not farmed the land for more than 10 years.
Wow.
I cleared the land myself.
Yourself?
Yes.
You did it yourself?
Yes. In fact, when I was clearing the land, there was a security guy, who more like a vigilante kind of guy. He came to me to come and propose to me, because it must have felt that since I was a girl and clearing that kind of thicket, because the grass was taller than myself.
Wow.
He came to ask me out. I was very piqued. I said no. He said he was going to buy me, he was toasting me with a bottle of Coke. You know, and I was in the university at this time for me to be doing that. But when I was in primary school, the Lord spoke to me. He told me that you were made to be a lawyer.
Wow.
And by the time I was in the secondary school, he spoke to me again. He told me that I was going to be a teacher. So I sort of took it that it meant that since he said I was going to be a lawyer and he was now saying I was going to be a teacher, it was only logical that I was going to be a law teacher. So all along, I knew I was to be a law teacher. So whatever I was going through, I knew that what I needed to achieve was to achieve my legal training, and then I would become a law teacher. So whatever I was going through, I just kept pressing on. By the time I finished the university, you know, I told you that I paid myself through school. Yes. And within that period, if there was a meal I ate because I bought it.
Wow.
If there was a dress I wore because I bought it. If there was a book I had because I bought it.
Wow.
So it was very, very, I don't need to say that it was traumatic, to say the very least, for a child at that age, because I got into the university at the age of 18. So it was very, very difficult. During my service, I decided I was going to start a type of kiosk. I began a kiosk. Some people were even asking me that, have you been to Kano before? And how did I begin this kiosk? There was renovation work going on in the school, so there were corrugated iron sheets lying around. I approached the commandant of the school that could I use them to construct a kiosk. He said I should go ahead because they were waste. So I made use of them to construct a kiosk. And then there was a police officer who was an addict in watching films. And once he buys a film and watches, he will not want to watch it again. And he had a full Ghana Must Go of films. So I requested him to give them to me. He gave them to me, so I opened a video club. Then I began to sell recharge cards too. And because everybody in the academy was selling cards at 110 naira, I said, let me sell them at 100 naira flat. And I reasoned that the turnover was going to come from the number of units I sell, not the amount of money I made on one. So people could take bites of 50 naira to come and get a card of 100 naira. And the other people who were selling at 110 naira felt it was no use going into town to purchase cards and sell at 110. So they just purchase bulk from me at 100 naira and sell at 110 in other outlets. So I began selling those recharge cards at about 14. I didn't have more than 14,000 that I began that shop. But eventually, before I left the school, there was no time that I didn't have 100 and something thousand naira worth of cards at a time. So it was very rough. And these are some of the places that I raised money to return for my master's. I told you that when I finished NYSC, I worked briefly in Kano, then I resumed for my master's. And even when I was going back to my master's, the only thing I told my parents was that I've had my admission to study, to do my master's, and I've paid my school fees.
Wow.
That was how I told them.
Wow.
It's been rough, but basically when you know that this is where you are going, you will be focused, you will work towards it, and no matter the challenges you meet, you will know that once I get to where I'm supposed to get to, I will have some respite. So that's how it's been.
I can tell your story is a story of hard work, commitment, and focus.
Thank you.
Wow, so inspiring. Before I go further, I'd like you to talk to, I believe there are young ladies watching this program right now. Thank God for beauty, thank God for eloquence, thank God for diction. But I believe that success in life has to do with a lot more than that. And from your story, I can tell that we can't escape it. It is very important to be hardworking. I want you to speak to young ladies watching you right now. Say a word to them.
Well, first of all, I want to say that being a woman or being any other sex, it's, we don't normally choose to be the sex that we find ourselves to be. But all of these things are usually orchestrated by God, and they are usually for a purpose. All of us who believe in God believe that God doesn't just do things, he does them for a purpose. When you are a man too, you are a man for a purpose. When you are a woman, you are a woman for a purpose. If you are not careful, you will think that there is a form of disadvantage for being a woman. But the truth is that there are a lot of blessings, there are a lot of advantages, and there's a purpose for God making you a woman. You only need to find out the reason why it pleased God that you should come as a woman and not as a man. There's a popular saying that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. If you do not also know the purpose for your being made a human being, not a goat, for your being made a woman, not a man, you will abuse the very reason why you were made a woman. Anytime you meet challenges, you may resort to some means that are degrading to meet some immediate need you think you have at that time. And at the very end of the day, you will have yourself to blame. You will have all the shame. I don't need to go through the types of shame that a woman has from some misbehavior or otherwise. But you need to know why God has made you. And when you have known why God has made you a woman, you may also do well to seek to know how you can achieve this purpose for which God had made you what you ought to be. As a woman, there are a lot of challenges against women all over the world. Some people say it's a man's world, so you know that it's very, very difficult for a woman. Even there are sometimes that as a woman, when you go for a competition or you apply for something that should have been given on merit, for a woman, some places, they will request much more from you other than merit. Other things that you will fall into some moral contradictions if you were to meet. As a woman, you will need to be very close to God for God to help you on some of these issues.
So true.
If not, you will land into a whole lot of trouble. If God is counseling you, do this, many times, if we just listen to God and do them, we find that at the end of the day, it's much easier than if we had used our senses or used some calculation or all of that to do. Many of these challenges that life has allowed us to pass through, they help build in us a virtue that helps sustain the success when it comes. Because when success comes too, you need to have the character to sustain success. But if you have not passed through challenges that build in you the requisite character, even when success comes, we will mismanage them. And I've discovered that through all of the challenges I've gone through, I'm really helped in this office. Because when people come, and they think that they are telling me something that is so out of this world that I don't understand. And I begin to explain to them and share some of my experiences that I've had and how I've overcome them. Some people are shocked, Some people are helped. Some people discover that what they think they are going through is not half of what I've gone through, and yet I've come this far.
Wow.
Thank you.
Powerful. So if you're a young lady watching us right now, you need God. It's very important. You need God. And always remember, give yourself value. A great man once said that it is the way you place yourself, you are prized. Give yourself value. We're wrapping up now.
Yeah.
At 31, right, you appointed...
Yeah, I just became 31 on September 10th.
Oh, so that means you appointed commissioner
so
at 30.
Yes, I was appointed
wow.
commissioner at 30.
Oh, wow. How did you feel?
How I felt? Well, let me say that when the Lord also told me that I was going to go into politics. But of course, that was already after he had told me I was going to be a law teacher. By the time he was speaking to me that I was going to go into politics, I was already in the university. So I just imagined that maybe when I would be going into politics would be when I must have become a prof, for instance. So I would just retire into politics. I didn't know that God was going to bring it this early. And the truth of the matter is that if God had waited until I had become a prof, I would have thought I had earned it because I'm a prof.
Yes.
But now, the time that he has done it, I know that I didn't earn it at all. It was all God. So it reminds me of the scripture, and God keeps bringing this scripture to me, that we have this treasure in an earthen vessel, that the manifestation of the power thereof will be of God and not of ourselves. So when you look at the earthen vessel, you know that an earthen vessel is made from clay. It doesn't have any characteristic of its own. It's whatever you pour into it that gives it the character it has. If you pour hot water into a pot of clay, the pot will become hot. If you pour something cold in it, the pot becomes cold. So now it makes me understand that it's not about me. It's not about whatever qualifications that I do have. It's not about whatever capacities I do have, but it is about what I carry on the inside of me. When I made reference to when I was teaching served in the Nigerian Police Academy with Dil Kano. I was teaching there, and I was taking the criminal law to classes of ASP, cadet ASPs and cadet inspectors. And there were times that when I'm teaching, I was the youngest lecturer in the school at that time too. And when I'm teaching, people who were not cadet officers will line up at the window to listen to my lecture. And there was testimony all over that I was a very sound teacher. So one day when I was meditating, I was just crying. And out of these cadet officers, I had up to 10, at least 10 who were lawyers. Some had masters in law, so they were all my seniors at the bar, but I was teaching them. I went to my room when I was meditating, I was just crying and saying, Lord, wow, what is this? I thank you for all of these testimonies that are going out about my teaching. And he told me that, why are you surprised? The man who dwells inside of you is the fulfillment of the law. You know, I had always known that Christ was the fulfillment of the law, but I had never known him to have something to do with my teaching career as a lawyer, or with my career as a lawyer. But here was God telling me that he who dwells in you is the fulfillment of the law, so there is no way you will not know law. Wow. Now, there is also, he who dwells in me is also the King of kings and the Lord of lords.
Wow, I've been so inspired. Thank you so much.
Hello, friend. I'm Mike Murdoch. Keep watching Activating Success with my wonderful, wonderful friend, Love Idoko.
This is Bishop Noel Jones, and I want you to continue watching Activate Success with Love Idoko.
What's your favorite inspirational song?
Ha! My song. Well, I don't know if I have a favorite inspirational song, but I know that there are sometimes that this song comes to my heart, and it comes so often. Your steadfast love stands to the heavens, your faithfulness, it reaches to the clouds, your righteousness is like majestic mountains, and your wisdom like the depth of the sea, and you come to me.
That was so inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Finally, for someone watching you right now, who is confused about life, who is frustrated, who is discouraged about life, who has no clue on how to get to the next level, what word of encouragement do you have for such a person?
Basically, everybody has a basis of his morality, and it's from that basis of morality that we do all of what we do. For me, basically, I'm a Christian, so I do everything from the standpoint of being a Christian. And when I say I'm a Christian, I don't mean I go to church, I mean I'm a Christian. So if you are a Christian and you are downcast, I like to tell you that leave everything to God. See, there is this song that says that there is so much that we lose when we do not leave it to God in prayer. Just take it to God in prayer and leave it with God in prayer. When you pray to God about a matter and you keep worrying yourself about the matter, then it means that you have not left it at the feet of God. God will meet you at the point of your needs.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've been so inspired. If you're watching us today, keep pressing on. Keep pressing on. Your life is serious business. You have only one life to live. Give it your best shot. Keep pressing. Maybe somebody mistreated you. Maybe somebody laughed at you. Maybe somebody has said nothing good will come out of you. Keep pressing, keep pushing, and one day your day will come. Thank you so much for watching us. Stay with us, same time, same station next week. Thank you.
You've been trying to figure right from wrong, and the tears been falling for so long. But the more you try to work it out, it seems you're going around.